And a good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Tony Martini, My 50-Year Journey. I am one of your hosts, Aaron Phillips, alongside my longtime friend and partner, Ricky Cash, who, flew in here. And the man of the show, the man of the hour, Mr. Tony Martini, the incomparable one, joins us fresh back from a trip in San Diego as you saw Anthony walk down the aisle to get his pigskin.
Getting old.
No. We working on there?
Yeah, no, we're fine.
Okay, there you go.
Sounding like Rodney Dangerfield.
Oh, no, the only difference, though, Tony, is you get a lot of respect.
I don't know about that.
That's more like Red Fox.
That
you
is
do a very
red.
good Red Fox,
That was
by the
red.
way. It's all right. Mr. Cash?
I get no respect.
He does them both very well.
Yes, it's Rodney Fox. It's his own.
Nice.
And away we go.
And away we go.
Very nice.
A really big shoe. Well, welcome wherever you may be listening to our show, whether you're on an iPad, iPod, Frog Pond, computer, wherever. We appreciate you taking time to checking in what we're doing with the Tony Martini Show. You came back on the air last week after a 3-month hiatus. You had over 200,000 listeners to your Welcome Back show last week.
Oh, that was nice.
Yes.
I want to know how you manage that.
I have. There's the guy over there. You see him? His name's John.
Okay.
We want to thank John for...
That's a good as response as I would expect.
Absolutely.
There you go.
By the way, here's our phone number, area code 702-467-7860 if you want to chat with the incomparable one, or email us at vegasunwrapped@gmail.com. Comes right to my umbilical cord, where you can email us at info@radiozone1, that's the number 1.com. You were egging me on to sing to the song at the top of the hour, but I won't do that at the beginning of the show.
Well,
I want to keep the listeners.
You're getting better and
Well,
better.
but I'll wait at break time when
It's
I'll make
coming.
a fool of myself. So.
By the way, guys, I have to tell you that I was listening to, actually watching one of those late movies, the nights that you can't sleep.
Right.
And I caught the end of it, channel flipping. And what do you think the song they were playing at the end?
No,
Summer Wind.
Oh, you're kidding.
I'm serious, and I'm thinking, gee, is that Tony or is that Frank? Sounds like Tony, but it's
I'm sure you could tell the
it was
difference.
it was Frank. But still, I thought that's pretty good that, in the middle of the night, his music continues.
You know, it's almost embarrassing sometimes when some people try to compare Frank with anybody, because he's like a Rembrandt and a Dali painting. You just don't compare the two. They're both great, And that's one of my analogies when people ask me, well, who was your favorite singer? I said, well, who was your favorite artist? And they say, well, it's pretty hard to compare one from the other when you're talking about the greats,
Well, you know what? I look at it this way. When you emulate a guy like Frank Sinatra, you do it in your own style, that it's easy for guys like Cash and I to say, you know what, you're great in your own way aside from Frank. Frank had his method. You've emulated your style of Frank. You're Tony Martini great. And I think that's what makes your music so special, because you took that tutelage from Frank and the rest of those guys that you were around and you made it your own. And I think that's what's great about listening to your music, because it can remind you of Frank, but it's Tony.
The only guy that, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
The only guy that I've ever really
I'll give you your $10 change later.
emulated, thank you, 20.
Oh, 20. Figures he keeps
was
track.
when I was shining shoes in the back of the subway,
Right, I
train.
remember. Right,
and Mario Lanza was my idol,
right.
and I wanted to drown out the train. And I'm 8 years old, and I run to the back, walk to the back with my shoe shine box, and I start singing "Be My Love," or one of these great Caruso songs.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only guy that I've ever wanted to sound like. And then the popular voice, not the serious voice, came, and I said, he's too good.
He's too good, right. I'm
He's
too
too
myself,
good.
I always knew you set the bar high.
But he's too good.
That's like, come on, Tone.
I mean, what a magical voice. Sure. What a wonderful gift to be the voice of the century. Do you know what they're calling him now?
Sure.
Not the voice of the year.
The century.
Do you know what a century is, folks? It's not a decade. It's 100 years.
I thought it was that guard guy out in front of...
maybe it is.
That's a century. A different century. I'm sorry.
SENTRY.
Thank you.
But for a guy to come back on the Larry King show, and he says to Larry, I'm a saloon singer.
Well,
and Larry King looks at him and just nourishes the humility
Sure.
of the greatest singer in pop in the history of music.
He
right?
always refers to himself as a saloon singer.
saloon singer.
Always. Even when he was a young man, it was amazing.
You know, when he came to hang out with us at the Delmonico's in Palm Springs after hours, we get the phone call, Tony, anybody there? No, come on down. And he says, I'm driving, meet me outside. I'm driving the Chrysler. I've said that a few times on the air, but it's true. And then he never talked about himself.
Do you think that was his way of keeping his humility in check? A little bit of humbleness about, I mean, everybody knows he was as big as the moon, but was that his own self mechanism to keep his ego in check for himself, you think?
I never asked him the question because I didn't want to put him on the spot. Who am I to ask Frank Sinatra, why are you so interested in my story and Tony Prenesti's story and George Simone's story and Don Costa's story?
Right.
I think it's because he was so saturated with people and accolades. You only can take so many. You sound great. You sound great. You sound great. My mother loved you. My father loved you. I mean, after a while, hey, tell me a little bit about you.
Right. Takes the spotlight off of him.
Yeah,
I can
me
see
a little
that.
bit about you.
I hate to tell you this, man, but you're a lot that way too. And I don't mean that derogatorily, hate to tell you, but when we sit and chat, you are so into what everybody else is around about before anybody says, well, Tony, we want to know about you. You're the same way.
You hit the nail right on the head,
Right.
Phillips. Absolutely. In fact, if anything, the humbleness that comes from you is it's kind of rewarding to see that there are people like that out there, because, you know, when they named it the me generation, somebody got that one right on the nose, because it is the me generation.
And not the we.
Right. No, and not the we. And
There's a we right there.
I'll introduce our guest in a minute.
Well, that's awesome. But you're right. You hit that right on the nose. And,
He's the same way.
the humility is
Well,
it's nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that when you come from an upbringing, and I have to always bring up my grandmother and grandfather, right?
Right.
Ischia, Italy, you know? I mean, for them to take me on after my mom died and my father eventually, right? I mean, that's a big job. If that doesn't give you humility, then nothing will. Slap. Come on. Stop talking about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what Frank basically inferred.
Mm-hmm.
Just slap. I heard about me so many times. Don't bore me with any more of that.
Right.
With any more of that crap. He said it one day.
Every time he says slap, I want to duck because I don't know if I'm really getting one or not.
No, that's my
But that's
violent
his
streak.
Right.
Yeah, I went into martial arts because I had a terrible temper.
You'd
And-
never know.
and-
That's amazing.
You'd never know
Just
it.
in of itself. I know you for 3 or 4 years now.
Yeah.
And temper? Are you kidding
No.
me?
Well, that's why I went into the martial arts, because somebody told me once that your father had a terrible temper and he used to drink these shooters, you know, like beers with whiskey chasers, or vice versa, shooters with beer chaser. And he used to get loaded. And I remember as a very, very young man, I got tired of going to the bar to bring him home.
Mm-hmm.
You got it?
Mm-hmm.
So when I grew up and God gave me this gift of singing, and my grandmother used to sing me folk songs in Italian, and I learned so much from her, and my grandfather, who built a house stone by stone. He was a mason. You know what it is to come from an old country and then build your own home one brick at a time? I mean, do you have any idea,
no clue.
any comprehension?
I have trouble
No
putting
money
together
and building
anything.
a house in Brooklyn one stone at a time, and I'm going to come and have an attitude? Slap.
That's the early form of the Denozo. For those of
John,
you,
you
who are-
agree with that? That's out. Owner of Radio Zone 1.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You have to give him
No,
credit.
absolutely. I mean, but it all, and it even goes back, and that's a lesson we could take today, that all of those upbringings start at home
Absolutely.
with the kids of today. I mean,
Yeah.
if my kids got out of hand, I wouldn't hesitate to slap them.
Exactly.
But there are a lot of families out there that don't give a rat's patoot about what's going on, and with their humility starts at home.
You
There's
know,
no question.
I recognize something with this generation. I think that we really have to give them a lot of credit now. With the new technology,
Mm-hmm.
they're sponges.
Sure.
They are teaching us the new wave of communication.
Mm-hmm.
You got Facebook, you got YouTube, You got my this and heard that. And, I mean, there's so much out there now. It's almost intimidating
Yeah.
to an old guy
There's internet radio.
who's so used to a Samsung phone, and he hits that, and that's it.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, you got an iPhone that goes all over
Does
the
everything.
world.
Yeah, absolutely.
And John just told me, he says, there's 37 countries listening to this show right now. I mean, that's pretty humbling.
Absolutely.
It's a lot of people.
There's a lot of pressure with that. Are you kidding? 37 countries. Wow. And I can only speak one.
So we did how many people last week? That was a good
over-
show.
over
About
200,000.
200,000 for your welcome
Well, that
back
was
show.
a fresh show, you know?
Absolutely.
And I enjoyed that. It was...
Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do.
What?
We're going to stop right now.
Okay.
Take our first commercial.
I
Great.
feel like I just started.
Well, you did.
now I can
Cheers.
wipe the
So
sand
now,
out of my eyes.
When we come back, I have pulled up your list of stars that you've worked with, and we're going to play name association.
Okay.
I'm going to give you the names of the stars that you've worked with,
Okay.
and you're going to give me one-word adjectives to describe them. Wait to hear what Tony has to say about many of the greatest stars that he's worked with, Cash.
This
Gotta
is a-
love this.
this is a test.
This is
This
always
is a test.
this is always the fun part of the Tony Martini
Absolutely.
show.
Phillips and Cash with Tony Martini right here on RadioZone1.com. We'll be right back.
Don't go away.
Whether you're 17 or 77, the most important product you have to sell is yourself. Tony Martini of Image Productions has 50 years' experience in teaching and training individuals the skills needed to improve their public speaking, posture for first impressions, and how to project to take control of a room. And at the end of the session, you actually get to take home a CD in order to monitor your progress. Give Image Productions a call today at 1-702-813-7888. Whether you're graduating high school, college, or you want to change professions, give Image Productions a call today, 702-813-7888. Great book out there called Under the Neon Sky, a Las Vegas doorman story, authored by our friend Jay Rankin after being the doorman at the MGM for 6 years.
Wow.
Yeah, you know what? Go to jayslasvegas.com. You can download chapter 1 for free of the book. And trust me, when you read it, you're going to get hooked. By the way, Cash, do you know where they can get the book?
Amazon.
Barnes & Noble, and ebook applications. Visit www.jayslasvegas.com. Download chapter 1 for free and enjoy.
Don't be mad at me. It's just the way it is. If you could see me now, you wouldn't believe it. I'm on the rise. I achieved it. I gets down. The jealousy is in your eyes. Don't be hating, just be glad. I'm so pimped out and slightly faded. I got me a bad
Doesn't know
one
it.
in
All
my
right,
chat.
welcome
When she
back to
goes down,
Vegas
I
Unwrapped.
hate
See, there's that humility thing again. You always get me on. Phillips and Cash, Tony Martini. By the way, we keep looking off to our left, and I'm wondering if our audience is wondering, what are they looking at? Is there? Well, there is somebody over here to my left. You're right. A future guest on Vegas Unwrapped, and we talked about her last Wednesday, Miss Stacy Hall, author of a book called Cheetah Bee, which is your second book. See, I was listening, and it's right up your alley because it's about energy and positive energy and all that good stuff. And Stacy will be on Vegas Unwrapped 2 weeks from tomorrow night.
Excellent.
We're
That would
gonna-
be the 29th of June.
Very good,
How's
sir.
that?
You are correct, sir.
There you go.
Wow.
So we thank you for stopping
You're
in. She
impressive.
wanted to check out the studio before coming in cold. She does her own show on another network, which will go unnamed for now, with the possibility of me hog-tying her to Vegas Unwrapped someday soon. Who knows?
We'll figure
We'll
out a
figure
way.
it out. But
All right.
nonetheless, we had a meeting before coming on the air, and I love the concept. And she put me to the test, which is why I feel like testing Tony because I want to
It's a test. Here we go.
All right, so we welcome back to Tony Martini, my 50-year journey, and in front of me I have 26 names of some of the greatest performers that you helped produce and worked with in Hawaii from 1972 to 1980. And what I'd like to do is I'm just going to throw the names out there. Give me one word adjectives.
Yeah, right. Tony gives one word.
Well, that's why it's
Are
gonna
you
be a
kidding
test.
me? We are going to get, folks, let's sit back and listen. We're going to get a story on every
that's
one of them,
okay.
guaranteed.
If we get a story, maybe we'll do that. Give me a story
Yeah.
about each person rather than a one-word adjective. How's that? All right, let's start at the top. Jose Feliciano.
Tony, tell me if I throw a 7 on the crap table.
is that cool?
And for those who don't know, why would you have to tell them?
Because Jose Feliciano is sightless. He has no sight, and one of the greatest singers, Come on, baby, light my fire, and on, and Feliz Navidad. You know, that's his Christmas.
Feliz Navidad is such a classic throughout the world. I mean, it's it's not just a Spanish Merry Christmas. I mean, it's a Merry Christmas for all.
Even I could sing it.
And even I could sing it. And, that's good for two little Jewish boys from the city.
That's right.
Jose's in town. I went backstage. I saw him. He says, "Did you like my show, Tony?" I said, "It was great." He says, "Great? You mean sensational? I'm singing better than I've ever sung before." I says, "Okay, I'm sorry. I lost my head." And he had a cold. And he had a cold. He was at the Suncoast.
Okay.
Suncoast?
Okay.
Out in Summerlin, right?
How did you meet him, Tony?
No, I bought him. I bought him from CMA.
Okay.
Burl, CMA? Yeah, Burl Heckman was the agent. And he says, "Why don't you bring Jose over?" And I brought him over 4 times. We became great friends. And he wanted to socialize with me and smoke a little Pacalolo. And he did. And if I were blind and sightless, I'd be smoking Pacalolo also to feel better. And we're on the balcony overlooking Waikiki. And he's got his lovely wife with him and his small entourage. Non-pretentious, never demanded anything. And when I introduced him in the outer islands, we used to go everywhere, all the islands in Hawaii. I used to be, so enthused to introduce Jose Feliciano. I probably overdid it sometimes, I used to enunciate so beautifully, and I used to love to hear myself say his name, because I didn't get the chance to introduce all the stars, only a few. And I enjoyed him probably more than anybody else.
Okay.
I loved him.
All right, here's
Love
one.
you, Jose.
Actually, it's too bad we don't always in town. We should have brought him on the show.
Well, yeah, we weren't in the technology then. This
That's
is a
right.
few years back.
That's right.
You know.
All right, here you go. Here's another one, another classic. Ray Charles.
God bless you. God blessed me so much.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful man. He was not doing well. In the movie you saw
Right.
when he was down. So his manager, God, I don't know if I remember this. Joe Adams. I don't. Where the hell did that come from?
You know what the best part
I'm
is?
talking 30 years ago.
The best part
You
is
know,
Tony can
I
make
don't
up
know.
names,
And we would
folks.
never know the
We
difference.
wouldn't know.
Why do I do this? And then I can't forget when I'm going. I can't remember why I'm going to the bathroom. It doesn't make sense.
Because your bladder is exploding.
What am I doing? Did I come in here to brush my-
Something tells me you get a
Anyway.
reminder in the bathroom. I mean, call me crazy.
Oh, you'll find out one day. Okay, so
How's
God
tomorrow?
bless you. God bless you. So I bring him to the Sheraton Waikiki, and then I take him to Kauai. I take him to the Big Island. I take him to the Garden Island, the Big Island, and then Oahu. All right, and he brings his whole orchestra everywhere. Even when they were down.
That was quite
And
a
he
big
paid
group,
for
right?
that. Yeah, it was 20-some people.
Oh, my goodness.
And the Raylettes.
The Raylettes,
And the
right.
singers. Hello. You have great history.
Yeah.
I mean, you do.
It was fun.
If it wasn't for you, I'd fall dead on this stage here sometimes. He does. He has marvelous history.
That's because he's a history buff.
I know that.
It's
Well,
a
I didn't
strength.
know that prior.
I know.
You know.
It's
So
all right, he doesn't
anyway,
know it
Ray
either.
Charles, my wonderful memories of this man that is such a legend, there's a real legend now, would be super religious, and God bless you, Tony, for bringing me here. I love you. And it's a great compliment to hear from a wonderful guy like this.
His
Humble, yes.
His version of Georgia on My Mind is probably the most moving song that I've heard in many, many years. And I'll remember it every time they play it.
Well, and my favorite of his, and I mean, there's so many, but nobody does America like Ray.
Oh, absolutely. No
oh,
question.
yeah.
No question.
I mean, that would be like me wanting to do My Way after Frank Sinatra.
Right,
I
right.
mean, nobody does it.
I'll share with you that the
Great.
CD that Tony released within the last couple of months was his revision, because on the original, which I have the original master of your songs,
With Georgia.
he did Georgia on My Mind, and I have it on my computer.
Yeah.
So maybe when Tony's not paying attention, I'll slip it in, because he really did a very, very nice job on that song. And he took it off because he didn't think it did justice. but I have it, and we'll
I
sneak
took
it
it
on.
off because of what I just said.
No, I understand that,
Okay.
but you did it. You did. Don't sell yourself short with that song because that is a tough song to do.
You know, I'm going to start saying, Tony, you know, people don't pat themselves on the back enough. I'm talking to everyone out there now. I want you to think of one thing tonight. Do me a favor. When's the last time the inferiority complex disappeared, please, and you patted yourself on the back? I'm talking to your mothers, to your fathers, and to all of you would-be entrepreneurs. Pat yourself on the back once in a while.
Okay, next person.
One last comment
Go ahead.
on Ray Charles. You're absolutely right about the America. I mean, you think about that, and I'm telling you, without singing it or hearing it, it sends chills.
Next to
up
Whitney
my arm.
Houston's version of the Star Spangled Banner in '86, was it
91.
91
with the
Gulf War and all
yeah.
that?
I'll-
I would
I'll-
think that's the most inspirational American song. that's out there.
and a couple of others, Lee Greenwood.
Yeah,
you know,
but I'm not on the countryside. I mean, you can't put Lee Greenwood and Ray Charles. I'm sorry. Give me some fireworks. Maybe I'll put Lee Greenwood up there. But straight up performance, I'm sorry. Ray Charles to Lee Greenwood?
Well,
I don't think so.
As far as
All right,
super
girls,
patriotic
listen.
stuff,
Stop.
all right.
All right, here's another name for you. Speaking of girls, Tina Turner.
Tina Turner's with Ike.
At the time,
And I know that she's getting her ass kicked. Excuse me.
Yeah,
Okay?
a lot of
Telling you
abuse.
like it is. And I'm anti anything like that, you know. I mean, if I saw a guy smack a girl in front of me, I would knock him on his butt. And the cops would lock me up. You know? But I wouldn't think of that. Okay? And I don't think anybody out there would think of it either. So she comes anyway with Ike and kills him. But a lot of people made comments at that time, and I picked up on it. And then after they split up, and she started living her life, she calls me and says, Tony, I want to come to Hawaii. I says, come on in. And she was the most humble person I had ever met, who was killing the stage with dancing,
Mm-hmm.
her energy. You want energy?
Mm-hmm.
Well, then Tina's there.
Absolutely.
I mean, huge energy. And I couldn't believe that as she aged, she was, excuse me, she was killing the people with her movements.
Right.
At 60 years old.
she
she
sure was,
performed
because
as well as sang.
no question about it. I
Yeah.
because when she broke up finally with Ike and got back into the national spotlight, she was already a lady in her 50s,
Mm-hmm.
and she was knocking him out like she was 20. And it was amazing. She got more fans the second time around than she did when she and Ike were together back in the 60s.
And very not demanding in any way. And she actually was a little bit insecure. Did I do all right for you, Tony? Did we fill up the house? She was more concerned about me making money.
Mm-hmm.
And I never in my entire career ever brought up any of that as an issue with any star. That was not their concern. You know, you did a great show. Thank you very much. If they didn't do a super show, I still told them they did as well as I could expect.
Mm-hmm.
Not
You
that I'm a big fan of Mel Gibson, but I understand that Mel Gibson was instrumental in having her involved with the Mad Max movies that she got
Good for him.
got her stuff back going. I heard that.
Good for him.
Yeah, I mean, there were some redeeming qualities about
Well,
it.
I think entertainers really have great empathy for other entertainers. I don't think there's a doubt in my mind regarding that.
Yeah.
All right, they draw a line when it comes to, you have to respect a person with talent.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do respect a person with talent, then there's no barriers there that will prevent you from upstaging anyone.
Mm-hmm.
You got to respect talent for what it is.
Absolutely.
And once you do that, you've arrived in the industry
Mm-hmm.
as a non-braggadocio person.
Makes sense.
And those are the people that become successful. If you really think back about the great greats,
Sure.
they were not involved with themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They just wanted to do a great performance.
Mm-hmm.
And they helped the other artists tremendously.
Absolutely. Hey, let me ask our listening audience a question. Has anybody out there ever dreamed of being an entertainer? Do you want to improve your public speaking and image? Not sure how to break into the industry? Tony Martini from Image Productions will not only help train you and your voice, but upon completion of your training, he will introduce you to an international audience on this very shoe, the Tony Martini My 50-Year Journey. As a souvenir, you will also receive a copy of your appearance performing on the show to be used for future demos or to monitor your progress. Whether you are a senior in high school or a senior in life, Tony will show you it is never too late to follow your dream and passion. Tony has over 50 years of experience in entertainment producing and or performing with some of the biggest names in the industry. Don't waste another minute. Pick up the phone right now and call Tony at Image Productions at area code 702-813-7888. That's Image Productions, 702-813-7888. And as Tony always says, you can't set the bar too high for success. 702-813-7888.
As I like to remind our listening
Very
audience,
well done.
when you hear that message, it's not just relegated to people here in Las Vegas. Tony is more than willing to talk to anybody anywhere in the world and can work out a program for them
Absolutely.
via Skype, of course.
Skype's great.
And other methods of communication, which we talked about at the top of the show,
Mm-hmm.
and how technology has certainly helped you in this business. And trust me when I tell you, folks, it's more than worth it to have a session with Tony Martini.
All right, last one before we go to the recorded break. Barbie Benton.
I'll tell you all about
I
Barbie
went-
right now, guys.
I went to the mansion, Hugh Hefner's mansion,
Right?
and I was thrilled, you know. Not everybody goes to the mansion.
No.
And Mr. Hefner just gave me one message. He says, take care of my girl. Bring her to Hawaii. And I met Barbie and her chaperone,
Mm-hmm.
all right? And, you know,
6
to
foot
be,
8,
to be
300
honest
pounds.
with you,
Bubba.
I was expecting some really sensational, statuesque, glamorous Jane Mansfield,
right.
or Jane whatever
Russell,
Russell, yeah.
right?
And I saw this little girl, you know, and who looked really pretty. Don't get me wrong, but very nice. And she says, "Tony, I'd love to do the military there, and I'd like to do the Sheraton Waikiki and the Outer Islands and everything." I says, "Great, it's done. No problem. Let's go."
It must be very nice as a young
And
lady to get up in the morning, go to the bathroom, look in the mirror, and say, "I'm a 10," and go on with the rest of the day. That was Barbie Benton. I had the biggest crush on her.
That was Mrs. Hefner
Wow.
at the time.
I know. I hated him for it.
And here I am with Mrs. Hefner at the mansion. You know, it's a big deal.
Boy, oh boy. All right. Well, see, everybody lives a charmed life, so it's all good. All right. We come back on the other side. We're going to break out some music from an older CD that I surprised Tony with. From an original CD called Big Bands with a Martini, we're going to pull out a song that you want to talk about. We'll do that on the other side of the break. Tony Martini, My 50-Year Journey. Phillips and Cash sitting alongside ringside with the incomparable Tony Martini. We'll be right back right after this. Whether you're 17 or 77, the most important product you have to sell is yourself. Tony Martini of Image Productions has 50 years experience in teaching and training individuals the skills needed to improve their public speaking, posture for first impressions, and how to project to take control of a room. And at the end of the session, you actually get to take home a CD in order to monitor your progress. Give Image Productions a call today at 1-702-813-7888. Whether you're graduating high school, college, or you want to change professions, give Image Productions a call today, 702-813-7888. Great book out there called Under the Neon Sky, a Las Vegas doorman story, authored by our friend Jay Rankin after being the doorman at the MGM for 6 years.
Wow.
Yeah, you know what? Go to jayslasvegas.com. You can download chapter 1 for free of the book. And trust me, when you read it, you're going to get hooked. By the way, Cash, do you know where they can get the book?
Amazon.
Barnes & Noble, and ebook applications. Visit www.jayslasvegas.com, download chapter 1 for free, and enjoy.
What a deal, I've worked with Father Sky. He's given me a choice with time. Walking straight on lines. Don't let our ankles roll. You've got to tiptoe not to hurt your soul. Our bodies take
All right, welcome back to the Tony Martini Show, my 50-year journey. Phillips and Cash sharing stories on and off the air with Tony and Stacy, who's sitting in, and Tony was giving Stacy a little back to. I was waiting for you to tell the story about the balcony, your office there, how it's used in Hawaii 5-0. That's always my favorite story.
I had a wonderful office there. I spent a lot of money on this office, and I wasn't rich, you know. I just got back from Vietnam, and I had a few bucks, but nothing of any magnitude. And so I put bronze carpet in. You ready? Cork walls. I put a beautiful globe in the main entrance of my offices. And then I did video presentations, and I had an acting studio right next to my booking agent section, all right? And I had Ward Benson, who was a great actor, teach people. He was on the Hawaii 5-0 many, many times, and the original Hawaii 5-0 folks. And he taught me a lot. And I had 3 cameras from Akai. People don't know what Akai was. That I was way ahead of my time in 1972. I was already filming people for self-study with 3 cameras and a little switcher that gave them different profiles and everything. And that's how I got to open my beautiful offices at the Ilikai, along with a studio. And, you know, at that time, I sent a letter to President Nixon. And I said, Mr. President, one of the finest letters I've ever written in my life. And it's one of the few things that I do brag about. And my secretary, Diane Hall, don't ask me how I remember these names, said a week after, or 2 weeks after, she says, you know, there are a lot of people hanging around here in the Secret Service. I says, great, I have nothing to hide. Just tell them I was in 2 wars, Vietnam and Korea. Why don't you just tell them that? And I'm inviting the President, Nixon, you know, to my show called The Fabulous Dorsey Show with Connie Haynes at the Hilton. And the President answered me. And so she says, few days later, she says, guess what? This is from the White House. I said, really? Yay! You know, it's a big thrill.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I invited President Nixon to my show and so forth, and they all responded.
Absolutely.
Did he come out?
I wish you didn't ask that question.
Well, maybe he went to China because at that time
He said
was
the
very much
president
involved in-
really. I have the letter at home. One night I'll come in and I'll read the letter back.
That would be super.
Okay.
Then I won't ask the
President
question.
Nixon, why not read the letter? You know.
The opening of the original Hawaii 5-0, where Jack Lord stands on the balcony, that's his office.
Right, and of course that is the same one that they're using on the new Hawaii 5-0.
That's
and
right.
It's pretty interesting to watch the two.
It's called Top of the Eye, Top of the Ilikai.
Great.
Wow.
Great stuff.
All right, let's go back a little bit, Tony. Let's talk about a previous CD by the name of Big Bands with a Martini.
This was done in my garage in San Diego when my son Anthony was born. I got my martial arts black belt at 60. I had my son at 60. Hello, all you old people who are sitting on the couch and all drying up and think they're just all over. Get up. Get back your energy. And I did it in the garage in a beautiful 9-room home that I had in San Diego. And it was like my dream house overlooking Lake Hodges. And I had just had a son, you know, and I was inspired to sing in the garage there with some old 8 tracks. Then, not so old. Okay, this is a long time ago. And what are 8 tracks? 8 tracks would be like the best sounding cartridge that you could use for recording at that time.
It was about this big square,
Right.
rectangular.
All right. So I had my beautiful son. I had a little orchard, about 50 trees, a nice, not big, not a very pretentious home, 2,700 square feet. Hello, folks. Don't envision a mansion. No big deal. And I had a little guest house in the back, and you know, where we threw a few parties and stuff like that.
Starting to sound pretty big to me.
Like his baptism, you know. I had a nice 140 people for that, and I started singing and rehearsing with some great Japanese equipment again, Dinone equipment. And I was always kind of testing equipment for Akai, Dinone, karaoke. It's karaoke, you know, in Japan, because I was in Japan a long time. And so I wanted to, so I got these tracks with Don, the great Don Costa, and some other people, and I Love You So. I think it's the track that John just played, but we didn't hear it.
Did he play it? He didn't play it.
Oh, you didn't play
no,
that?
No, I got it right here.
I'm
I've got
sorry.
it queued up. Oh, no.
I thought we were missing something.
No, we weren't missing anything. I'm waiting for you to set it up.
Oh, well, I'm setting it up right now. And you'll hear Don Costa on the guitar with this. It's one of my favorite songs, and I hope you like it, okay? I haven't heard it in a long time.
Well, so this will be a first for you in a while.
Yeah, let's
Here
run
we go.
it.
Here we go.
This is during the old era of technology.
And I love you so. The people ask me how I've lived till now. I tell them I don't know. I guess they understand how lonely life has been. But life began again the day you took my hand. And yes, I know how lonely life can be. The shadows follow me, and the night won't set me free. And I don't let the evening get me down. Now that you're around me. And you love me too. Your thoughts are just for me.
It's pretty good.
You set
Not
my
bad for a beginner.
spirit free.
I know this song.
I'm happy that you do.
My favorite line.
The book of life.
The
is
book of
brief,
life is brief,
And once the
and once the page is read, all but love is dead. That is my belief.
That is my
Come on.
belief.
How do you write stuff like
And
Can't.
yes, I know
that? How loveless life can be. The shadows follow me, and the night won't set me free. And I don't let the evening get me down. Now that you're around me.
Live and on Memorex. Tony Martini and I Love You So. 18 years ago, 17 years ago, in the garage in San Diego. Not bad. Actually, the live version just now is pretty good, too.
It's wonderful. Thank you. You know, the easiest thing I do is sing. It's true. God gave me this voice. I mean, you know, what's it like to be able to just get up in the morning and sing and know that something comes out that people enjoy?
Is that with or without the shower?
Well, I was thinking about the shower too, and I'm thinking, there I am blasting away in the shower. I got every door in the house shut, and I still hear people yelling, "What is that noise?" You know?
Well, see, the audience is applauding your efforts, Tony.
Thank you. Please, please, don't stop.
More, no, more. All
Say the
right.
magic word.
That's right. Well, listen. So, what was it like to hear that song? It's been, you said, so long.
It was. You know, I'm just thinking. You so observantly said 17 years ago. My son's going to be 18 November 26th, and 18 years old already.
Mhm.
So it's 18 years ago since I've heard that.
Now,
Because November's right around the corner, right?
do you remember some of the other cuts from that CD?
Yes, I do.
I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
Black
Yeah.
Magic
But,
is on there.
Oh, that's my son's favorite. He says, Dad, you know what I like the best out of that? That
Black
album
Magic?
at the time, right? I said, no, son, what is it? He says, that old Black Magic.
That old
He says,
Black
I
Magic.
really like the way you do that. And coming from my son, it's a big deal, you know? Because he's semi-jaded. He gave me a 7 on my new CD, you know? He's tough.
That's right. London Town you have on there. Night and Day.
Yes.
If you're young at heart, I've got you under my
Young
skin.
at heart, I enjoyed.
I
a
like Young
lot.
at Heart.
Even
Yeah.
even a version of Summer Wind from 17 years ago is on that CD.
I can't get away from that.
No, you can't.
It's your
See?
fault.
Well, I didn't know that 17 years ago. I knew that 7 months ago. Well, that's good. No, it was fun playing that. So we have that, and we're going to keep loading up the song tracks. So next one we're going to get is his holiday CD. We're going to get that loaded up as we get ready to celebrate the holidays in a couple of months.
You and I had the pleasure of listening to that holiday CD in front of Tony Roma's on Sahara last
What fun that is.
2010.
That's right.
It was pretty cool too.
All right, listen, we're going to step aside for our last time out. It's quarter of the hour here in sultry Las Vegas because it is quite warm today, triple digits
Hit
today.
100.
105 tomorrow. So we're going to step aside for our last time out, and when we come back, I don't know what we're going to do, Tony. What do you feel like doing the last segment? More names? We'll wing it.
Yeah, you
Whatever.
got the list.
I got the
Let's
list.
go through the list. a
I
little
like
got
that list.
All right, you got it. When we come back, that's what we're going to do. We're going to hit some more names. The Tony Martini Show, my 50-year journey with Phillips and Cash and the incomparable Tony Martini. We'll be right back.
Don Costa.
Whether you're 17 or 77, the most important product you have to sell is yourself. Tony Martini of Image Productions has 50 years experience in teaching and training individuals the skills needed to improve their public speaking, posture for first impressions, and how to project to take control of a room. And at the end of the session, you actually get to take home a CD in order to monitor your progress. Give Image Productions a call today at 1-702-813-7888. Whether you're graduating high school, college, or you want to change professions, give Image Productions a call today, 702-813-7888. Great book out there called Under the Neon Sky, a Las Vegas doorman story, authored by our friend Jay Rankin after being the doorman at the MGM for 6 years.
Wow.
Yeah, you know what? Go to jayslasvegas.com. You can download chapter 1 for free of the book. And trust me, when you read it, you're going to get hooked. By the way, Cash, do you know where they can get the book?
Amazon.
Barnes & Noble, and ebook applications. Visit www.jayslasvegas.com, download chapter 1 for free, and enjoy.
Welcome. All right, welcome back to Vegas Unwrapped. I'm ahead of myself. It's a cheap plug for tomorrow night. Join us 8 to 10 tomorrow. We're going to have, it has been confirmed, Lingerie Football League members of the Vegas Sin will be on the show tomorrow, pushing the new football league that's in town. So, folks, I'm
Boy,
not
that
going
just lit John's eyes
I
up.
know, but I'm not going to say when they're going to be on, so you're going to have to tune in tomorrow. But Las Vegas Lingerie Football League, Vegas Sin, will be in the house tomorrow. And I was hoping to have Vito Colucci on to talk about the Casey Anthony.
Leave it to Phillips and Cash, right?
Hey, listen,
grief,
you know, we're
Phillips.
trying. And so join us tomorrow between 8 and 10 p.m. for all the fun and frivolity. Fun and frivolity.
Big word.
I know. I took that out of your
one.
dictionary.
It's pretty good, though, Phillips. I
Big
got to give you a lot
fun
of
and
credit for
frivolity.
that one.
All right.
Big word like mayonnaise.
That's me. That's right. All right, here we go. Some more names. Fifth Dimension.
You know, this is a heartbreaker for me because I was producing all the Christmas shows at the Sheridan and Outer Islands in Hawaii, And I'm going to say it. Frankie Valli all of a sudden got a sore throat.
Okay. Read into
And that's the
any way you
extent.
want to.
That's the extent of that.
Okay.
So I had to bail myself out of sold out
Mm-hmm.
performances everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just imagine being a producer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I got 14 shows everywhere. I got no act. Hello, not so easy, folks. So the Fifth Dimension come in and bail me out. Aquarius, this is the dawn of Aquarius, one of the greatest groups ever. But they all wanted to see Frankie and the group. That's what they paid for. But the group was so sensational, and I had something for the holidays.
I think if you spend 10 minutes watching Marilyn McCoo, right, and that's the end of it. You don't have to worry about Frankie.
Oh, exactly.
Because she was the Fifth Dimension, and she was just
absolutely tremendous.
unbelievable voice.
Absolutely tremendous.
Loved her.
But-
Ask and ye
but
shall receive.
That was the end of my concert career. Because after that, I decided that's enough.
Well, yeah. Why should
I'm
you?
being very honest.
Why should you get disappointed?
That was enough. And then I came back into where I belong. Vegas is like my home. In and out. I've been here since 1959.
I bet you he could put a concert together in about an hour.
yeah. I bet.
Now.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I did. Yeah. I called Jerry Weintraub. Drop a little name here. Oprah did.
Why not?
Yeah.
Hey, why not?
Hey, Oprah, it's your fault that I got Skype, okay? I love you. But I watch your show so much that you are the greatest inspiration to people that I've ever seen in my life, and I'm one of them. Yeah, Skype.
All right. All right, let's kill Aquarius then. You're done. Next, Tiny Tim. How about Tiny Tim?
Tiny Tim, do you see my smile? Who else would take a bath with peanut butter in the tub?
Oh my God.
Tiny Tim.
He was no small guy. That must have been a lot of
And he
peanut
talked
butter.
like that,
Tiptoe through the tulip. I have that on here too. You like it? Was that good?
Yeah, that was good.
That was Tiny.
That was
too good.
Anyway,
That was Tiny
Tiny
Phillips and,
Yeah, Tiny.
and his quartet. Here.
Tiny and
Tiny
me.
came in with a little group in his little what was it that he carried with him?
Ukulele.
Right.
Right.
I should remember that. It's ukulele. All right, you can say ukulele, whatever. Anyway, long story short, he came in, and the people were so curious to see this man up close. And I put him in the small venues, not the large venues, because, he's Tiny Tim. I was a little smarter than most people. If they wanted to put him in a large venue, you don't do that to Tiny Tim.
Right.
And he was great. He did a great job. I was happy. I didn't have to pay him too much money. The people got up close. He wanted to sign all the autographs. And I found out that he actually uses peanut butter to take a bath with. So that's why.
Creamy or chunky?
I'm not sure.
I mean, that question
he-
begged to be asked. Come
you
on.
know-
Tell me everybody out there wasn't thinking that question. That's
But-
I wasn't. I certainly wasn't.
But,
Jiffy?
he was the delight, and may he rest in peace.
absolutely. We just
God-
talked about him on the show a couple of weeks ago for his birthday.
Yeah, really.
Just would have passed a birthday.
Yeah, God bless.
So
Tiny
many
Tim.
people did not understand that this was his real voice, and this is the way he sang and
Used to
entertained.
appear on Mike Douglas a lot.
Yeah, he
He was very effeminate.
he caused a
But he
great
was a very
controversy.
nice gentleman, and he was very delicate. He was delicate. And God bless him.
Absolutely.
He
All right.
sold about 30 million records of Tiptoe Through the Tulip.
Tulips, yeah.
A
I
little-
think it was one of the.
He was tiptoeing to
I
the
think
bank.
it was one of the
a lot.
biggest sellers of that year.
Tiptoeing
That-
or
that-
running.
absolutely.
Yeah, I'd have to look it up, but
And
I'll
he
bet-
was on all the big shows.
Sure.
Everybody wanted to have him, and that was great.
All right. Here's another name for you. Ready?
Yeah.
How about we touched on him last week, James Brown.
And I didn't put him on the list.
I know, but I updated it. I'll
And-
send you a
and
new
now-
copy.
James Brown, Mr. Blues, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
I feel
Mr.
good.
Rock and Roll.
I
I feel good. Na. So many people, even to this day. Well, na. I mean, how
Even
can you-
Shana is not.
So I put him at the military first. I was very smart. I put him at the military first, and the military went nuts over James Brown. The young guys and Mr. Rock and Roll, right? It was Mr. Russell.
Yeah,
Am I incorrect with that?
He was there.
What was he, Mr. Soul?
He
Mr.
was
Soul.
Mr. Soul.
Mr. Soul.
Soul.
All right. I didn't feel right with Mr. Rock and Roll. Okay. So Mr. Soul. And he did a marvelous job for me. I put him at the Sheraton Waikiki. I took him to the Outer Islands. And one thing I remember about him, he was very, very polite to me. Remember, this is a very not so educated person who had a pretty rough life. Okay? Anyway, so he did a great job for me. And one thing I have to share with you is that every time before he went on stage, he had his hairstylist with him.
Pomade.
And he actually had all of his
Pomade.
hair set
Right.
with the curlers and all this stuff. And he went on stage and he danced his butt off. And he killed every show.
Never
show.
a hair out of place either.
Never had a place and
Except for his
soaking
mugshot.
wet
Well,
when he finished.
Yeah.
He just was a workaholic.
Wow.
He loved dancing. He loved singing. And I was glad when he got the what is the award the president gives to entertainers now?
Congressional Medal.
The French. What's it called?
Freedom
Medal
Award.
of Freedom.
Freedom
Okay.
Award.
Yeah.
Yes.
I suspect there will be a movie about him one of these days. I mean,
yeah.
given that they've made one
Well,
about
the actor who did Ray is. I could see his face.
Jamie Foxx.
Thank you.
Yeah, Jamie Foxx killed it.
He'd be great.
He
as James
just killed
Brown.
it with Ray Charles. A lot of people don't realize that he sang in that movie.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
I knew that.
It was incredible.
And he stayed in
Unbelievable.
character
And
too.
you know what? You just reminded me of something I didn't know. They have not done a biography on James.
Not yet.
No, they have not.
What are they waiting for?
Jamie Foxx.
Oh,
Well, maybe not. But I'll tell you what, you got the right guy. You know who also sang in the Johnny Cash movie, and of course now the star
Oh yeah.
Phoenix,
Was it River Phoenix?
not River. Joaquin
Joaquin
Phoenix.
Phoenix.
Joaquin
He
Phoenix,
sang.
right.
He sang, and so did
What a great name.
the girl.
Right.
Right. What's her first name?
Reese,
right,
with
of
a
course,
spoon,
Reese
who's winning
she
Oscar after Oscar now.
Right,
You know,
and she
she's done
sang
pretty good.
the part of
That
June
actually
Carter,
leads me to an interesting final question for tonight because we're just about out of time.
right up
Right.
against it.
Who would you like to see play you in your movie story?
No, me?
Yeah.
I don't know if I justify a movie.
Well, put your thinking cap on and let's say Phillips and Cash Productions wants to put a movie together about the life of Tony Martini.
Well, then they'd have to go way back to my shiny shoes in Brooklyn,
Right.
and my grandparents,
They
and do
need
the
two
whole
or three
thing.
people to play the
Well,
role.
that's okay, but the
But who-
prominent time from, let's say, from the 70s, your Hawaii production time through today.
Or Vietnam. That needs to be
All right,
addressed.
so Vietnam through Hawaii through today. Who would you like to see play you during your prime of today's artists?
Well, my favorite young star is Michael Bublé.
Okay, make note of that so that when we're ready to do
I
the
think
movie,
Michael Bublé is probably the surprise singer of this century. I mean, the surprise singer. That's my prediction. He will be the surprise, longest lasting note singer of today. That's my prediction. So if
I like
anybody, what should we call it? What's the
It's a good
guy
choice.
that we thought was going to take Frank's place and became an actor and he sideswiped a little bit? Harry Connick Jr.
See, I was
really-
thinking he might be one that would.
I will tell you that. Yeah,
that's a good choice.
It's I'm going to say
Michael Bublé.
absolutely.
All right, make note of that, will you, please?
I've already written
Okay.
it down.
The longest note holder since Frank.
Okay.
Great notes.
All right. Well, listen, we got to stop right there. Can you believe an hour's in the books already?
No, I did.
It is. Look, it says we're an hour up.
Good.
Listen, we're going to end the show with the most requested song off of your new CD here at RadioZone1.com.
Okay.
And we'll take us out with a little Summer Wind. Anything you want to set it up with before we say goodnight?
No, I mean, I know that I'm in the studio recording, and this one here says, "Don't forget Summer Wind," so I didn't forget it. So,
And I appreciate
He
that. My
wouldn't
only
let me
lone
forget
credit
it.
as executive producer on a music CD.
one of Mr. Sinatra's great hits.
All right. For my partner, Ricky Cash, as always, Tony, it's been a pleasure to spend the hour with you. It goes by too darn fast.
Yeah, it does.
And for our listeners out there, we thank you for tuning in. Join us tomorrow night, Vegas Unwrapped, 8 to 10 p.m., right here on Radio Zone 1. Tony Martini with Summer Wind taking us out. Stay cool wherever you are. Have a great week. We'll see you next week here with Tony Martini, my 50-year journey. Phillips and Cash. See you tomorrow.
Be cool.
The summer wind came blowing in from across the sea.